Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into how a single, truly iconic moment in Japanese animation didn't just entertain a bunch of kids, but literally transformed Western pop culture forever. We're talking, of course, about Dragon Ball Z and the whole Super Saiyan phenomenon. I mean, how exactly did this niche property from Japan turn into a massive global juggernaut that is still dominating today? Well, let's jump right in and find out.
Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, we kind of need to start at the micro level. Just looking back at early fan reactions, Reddit user Titan's Beard really hit the nail on the head. They perfectly captured that raw, completely unfiltered experience of witnessing Goku's very first golden hair transformation. They wrote, "Frieza just killed Krillin, so shit was getting real." And honestly, emotions were high. You really have to remember, this was way before the era of social media. There's no Twitter timeline to frantically scroll through to see what just happened. You just had to sit right there in your living room, totally captivated, watching this pure-hearted hero get pushed way past his breaking point. It was an absolutely historic moment for 90s kid culture.
But, that leads us directly to the big, central question of this explainer. Why does an anime that originally aired way back in 1989 in Japan still dominate pop culture today? Obviously, nostalgia is super powerful, for sure. But nostalgia alone doesn't really explain how a show outlasts its own generation to go toe-to-toe with modern anime giants and literally multi-billion-dollar superhero franchises, right? So, to crack this code, we need to look at exactly how it became baked into the daily routines of a whole generation and how its storytelling fundamentally rewired what we expect from action heroes.
Section 1. 90s Kid Culture Impact. The Toonami Era. 3:30 p.m. on a weekday. Seriously, if you know, you know. Tuning into Cartoon Network's Toonami right after school became this sacred shared ritual for us. Fans were just completely hooked, right? Sometimes waiting weeks and weeks just to see the conclusion of the epic Namek saga. You'd literally run off the school bus, toss your backpack on the floor, and just glue yourself to the TV screen to see if Goku was finally going to defeat Frieza. It was absolute appointment television in its purest form.
So what was the actual day-to-day fan experience really like back then? Well, the sources give us a really fascinating peek into the absolute trenches of the 1990s DBZ fandom. Without high-speed internet to just easily stream episodes, fans actually had to rely on trading recorded VHS tapes. And oh man, the spoiler culture was wild. One Reddit user hilariously pointed out how Burger King, of all places, actually ruined the massive Super Saiyan reveal. They released these golden-haired Goku and Trunks toys before the episodes even officially aired in the US. Can you imagine? And we absolutely cannot talk about the Western release without mentioning the epic Bruce Faulconer dub music. Fans passionately defended how that intense, heavy rock and synth background music just completely elevated the scenes. It made moments like Vegeta's final flash or Goku's epic transformations feel like 10 times more intense for an American audience.
Now, introducing this huge, unforgettable cast of characters is definitely crucial to understanding the show's massive appeal. Akira Toriyama's distinct art style gave us this beautifully diverse array of heroes and villains. From the utterly ruthless Frieza Force all the way to the earthbound Z Fighters, every single character's silhouette is just instantly recognizable. This wasn't just the Goku show. It was a massive, expansive universe packed with rich, dynamic personalities that audiences could just instantly latch onto.
Moving on to Section 2. Timeless Characters and Storytelling, the heart of the franchise.
Underneath all the high-speed martial arts, the show really thrives on contrast. On one hand, you have Goku. He embodies the ultimate hero. But uniquely, he isn't driven by some brooding, dark need for revenge. Instead, he has this pure-hearted, endlessly optimistic, and just relentless drive for self-improvement. He just wants to get better. On the flip side, you've got Vegeta. He starts off as this utterly ruthless, prideful villain, a Saiyan prince literally obsessed with power. But then, he undergoes one of the most compelling redemptive arcs in anime history, eventually becoming a fiercely devoted protector of his family and his new home, Earth. This constant, dynamic rivalry just adds so many incredible layers of complexity to the whole narrative.
And that deep emotional core, that is exactly why the transformations hit so incredibly hard. These weren't just simple, flashy power-ups designed to sell more plastic toys. They were massive emotional payoffs. Think about it. Goku's first transformation was triggered by profound, devastating grief over losing his best friend. Then you have Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 awakening during the Cell Saga. That was literally years in the making, a culmination of a timid little kid finally overcoming his fear to take up the mantle of Earth's savior, complete with all that beautiful symbolism. Future Trunks' transformation? born from the absolute agony of losing his mentor in a bleak, dystopian future. And Vegeta's debut was driven by sheer, unadulterated pride. Every single glowing aura, every spiked hair change, it all represented a massive, hard-earned milestone in character development.
Which brings us to Section 3, Dominating Global Pop Culture, the Ripple Effect.
The show's cultural footprint really expanded way beyond just anime. For instance, did you know that the Sega team working on Sonic the Hedgehog 2 back in 1993 was directly inspired by Goku to create the golden, invincible Super Sonic? Crazy, right? Or how about its massive, undeniable presence in hip-hop? Huge artists like Kanye West and Childish Gambino have dropped DBZ homages directly into their lyrics. We constantly see professional athletes, footballers, MMA fighters, basketball players, frequently channeling their inner Saiyan, throwing up Kamehameha poses to celebrate a big victory. I mean, even blockbuster cinema isn't immune. The heavy battle stances used by Thanos in Avengers Infinity War were specifically noted to be totally reminiscent of DBZ-style power-ups. It is just universally recognized everywhere.
Section 4. A legacy that never stops. Decades of dominance.
When we call this franchise an unstoppable force, just take a second to consider the sheer, undeniable volume of content here. The original Dragon Ball gave us 153 episodes. Then Dragon Ball Z followed up with a massive 291 episodes. And even the sequel series, Dragon Ball GT, added another 64 to the pile. Collectively, we're talking about a franchise that has produced over 800 episodes across its various iterations. That is a truly staggering amount of world building and character development. And it's exactly what has kept fans coming back week after week, year after year.
And all of this leads to a pretty massive milestone, 30. Back in 2019, Toei Animation officially celebrated the 30th anniversary of Dragon Ball Z. I mean, just really think about that for a second. 30 years of continuous cultural impact, marked by major events, huge licensing deals, and endless product launches. Hitting a 3-decade milestone really cements its status. It proves it's not just some passing fad, but a permanent, foundational pillar of modern pop culture.
Best of all, it's actually still evolving today to hook totally brand new generations. The introduction of the Dragon Ball Super anime series brought fresh, exciting transformations and entirely new storylines. Then you have these massive blockbuster theatrical releases, like Dragon Ball Super Broly, which proved the global audience is absolutely as eager as ever. And we definitely can't ignore the vital role of the video game industry here. Hit titles like the classic Budokai series, the critically acclaimed and highly competitive Fighter Z, and the massive open-world RPG Kakarot. All of these ensure that younger fans who never even got to watch Toonami back in the day are still fully, deeply immersed in the world of Saiyans and Namekians.
So that leaves us with one final, pretty fun question for you to ponder today. What is your absolute favorite Super Saiyan transformation scene? Whether you were a 90s kid trading grainy VHS tapes and dodging those pesky Burger King spoilers, or maybe a modern fan who just discovered the magic through a brand new video game, everyone has that one specific moment that just gave them absolute chills. The Super Saiyan phenomenon genuinely changed the entire anime world forever, and honestly, its golden glow doesn't seem to be fading anytime soon. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and hey, keep that Saiyan pride alive.